Brican Resources Ltd. is a Canadian exploration and development company which is at present focusing its efforts on precious metals and massive sulfide-type deposits. To date, the company has consistently demonstrated a unique ability to generate prospects which are capable of securing development financing through joint ventures with major resource companies. In order to minimize or eliminate the risk in testing the potential of prospective properties, it is Brican Resources' philosophy to farm out the initial development costs to other participants in exchange for an interest in the property.
The goal of every mineral exploration company is the same, and that's to achieve cash flow from production, to bring a mine into production profitably. If you look at industry standards, you would see that the best combination for discovery is 10 or less people with a budget of $2 to $3 million a year, uninterrupted over a 3 to 5 year period. Having 10 people or less is no problem. It's raising that $2 to $3 million a year that you're going to have to spend on exploration. And we recognized right in the beginning that major mining companies, resource companies, oil and gas companies, overseas investors, they all want to participate and they're willing to pay the price. They'll pay 100% for 50%. They'll pay 33% for 25%, whatever the market will bear, and that's basically depends on how far the property has been developed. Now, this method of operation enables Brican to recapture its initial investment at a very early stage. It gives the company the right to participate in the development of the property after a substantial amount of the risk has been taken out of it. And if the company should decide not to participate for any reason whatsoever, it will end up with a carried interest in profits from production.
An example of such an arrangement is demonstrated by the Rabbit Mountain joint venture near Tulameen, BC. The property, which extends over 4.5 miles, exhibits numerous showings of precious and base metals. Brican has negotiated a joint venture agreement with Brican Resources Ltd., whereby Aberford can earn a 75% interest through the expenditure of $1 million on exploration by 1990. Brican would then hold a 25% carried interest to a production decision, with the option to maintain a 25% working interest by contributing 25% of expenditures exceeding $1 million. If Brican elects not to contribute, their interest will be reduced to a 10% carried net profits interest. The company owns several other precious metal properties in British Columbia which are in various stages of development. Some are expected to be joint ventured with major companies for further development in the near future. Brican Resources' strength seems to lie in an ability to generate valuable mineral prospects through the development of wide-ranging and aggressive field exploration programs based on sophisticated research and planning techniques developed over the past 3 years. Since 1983, Brican has expended in excess of $195,000 on a comprehensive reconnaissance and detailed exploration program in Nevada in search of bulk tonnage precious metals deposits. Referred to as the Nevada Window Project, the area extends on a north-northeasterly trending belt of favorable geology through Nevada from the California border 325 miles to the Idaho border and varying in width from 35 to 100 miles. Many famous gold and silver camps are situated within this belt and in fact have historically patterned the development of Nevada's highway system over the years. Brican's exploration experience, coupled with research on Nevada geology, has resulted in a unique combination of geological concept and exploration methodology, which has availed the company a significant competitive advantage in an intensely active exploration rush in Nevada. Brican is able to concentrate its activity in relatively small but well-defined target areas and to test the areas rapidly and efficiently at a lower cost. On a step-by-step basis, Brican's exploration experts would first determine which commodities are most likely to be in demand by the minerals industry over the coming years, and would then direct their research to regions which would potentially host significant deposits of that mineral. Gold is, of course, always of prime importance. A geological team would then visit those areas, tour any producing mines, categorize the geological setting, and then engage in an internal, systematic research of all information on the geology of the region, of the occurrence of the mineral being sought, and on the principal deposits, to to determine the technical approach best suited for possible involvement in the area.
This entire process requires a considerable amount of geological expertise. Our people all have a very strong technical background and are particularly skilled at applying their scientific knowledge to the search for minerals. One of the advantages of this type of knowledge is the ability to recognize the point at which you should discontinue work on a project or a property which is not yielding positive results, and to focus your attention on the ones which are most likely to yield a valuable mineral deposit. I think that in this respect, again, Brican is relatively unique among junior companies. We are able to concentrate our resources and our people only on the prospects which give definite evidence of having the potential for a major mineral deposit. No arsenic in that fraction, no antimony in that fraction, no silver. Looking worse. Yeah. I guess it's a write-off, eh?
So much for 55.
One less to worry about. How about 59 here?
But they look pretty good. We've got a 99,000 gold plus arsenic and antimony.
According to Cheryl's map of the claim situation, the ground is open. So I guess we better get in there and get our follow-up done pretty quick.
Upon completion of the research phase, Brican would then be in a position to define potential targets within those regions selected. Next, a systematic title search is made of each target area at the local county recorder's office to determine which properties have been staked or are owned, and then concentration is focused on those areas which are not held by others. Field crews then check out the remaining list of targets by collecting and analyzing samples. The results are processed through sophisticated computerized statistical evaluation, enabling recognition of areas which demonstrate the presence of important amounts of mineralization. Geologists then return to the few select areas to conduct more detailed fieldwork in order to reduce the search to an area which can be covered by a reasonable number of mineral claims. If an attractive section of a target area is held by an individual or another company, a joint venture agreement may be attempted. Once an area has been staked or optioned, a survey grid is established on the property. An exploratory team then conducts a program of geological mapping, geochem soil surveys, rock sampling, and geophysical and possibly magnetic and VLF surveys. The information is gathered and plotted on base maps constructed from grids, and the concentration of valuable minerals is implied by interpretation of the results. Brican's technical staff is then able to plan subsequent physical work, including trenching or drilling to test the nature, extent, size, and grade of the newly discovered zone. On a typical property, Brican will spend $25,000 to $50,000 to test its potential for independent development, or perhaps further enhance the possibility for a joint venture development agreement. Once drilling has been completed and a significant mineralized body is indicated, the next stage is usually the driving of a shaft or tunnel to permit underground exploration. Bulk samples are taken and analyzed to allow a comparison of drill hole results with the bulk mineralized material to establish confidence by engineers in the interpretation of the drill results. Brican has reached this stage on its Santa Fe property in Mineral County, Nevada, near Hawthorne. Under a joint venture agreement with Lacana Mines Incorporated and Wesley Mines Limited, Brican retains a 9% carried net profits interest in this gold-silver prospect. To date, Brican has received $250,000 in cash payments, while $4 million plus has been spent on exploration. Brican's contribution is now complete at $32,000 of the total expenditure. Oxide reserves are estimated at approximately 7.1 million tons at an average grade of 0.036 ounces per ton of gold. Sulfide ore reserves are estimated at 3 million tons, grading 0.046 ounces per ton of gold. The potential for discovery of additional reserves exists along both the northwest and southwest extensions of the ore zone. Gold values above 0.10 ounces per ton have been intersected below 400 feet in 21 vertical holes over a strike length of 2,000 feet. Tests will be conducted to evaluate the metallurgical recovery techniques for the sulfide ore, and the oxide ore will be treated by conventional heap leaching methods. Lacana Mines is conducting test heap leaching on Santa Fe ore at their operation at Relief Canyon in Nevada.
Many comparisons can be made here as to corporate philosophy and to the two deposits. The Santa Fe deposit is located in a similar setting. The genesis of the deposit is similar. The grade and tonnage is similar. The processing facility will be the same type of processing facility that we see here. The recovery rates are similar, and Lacana as operator will also be putting the Santa Fe into production. Relief Canyon was financed 100% out of profits from other operations. This is the goal of every junior company. As we look down at these leach pads, where we see the ore from the Santa Fe deposit successfully being tested, we can look forward to a time when Brican will have cash flow from its operations also.
This heap represents half the rock that was mined from a decline that was put in the Santa Fe property. This particular heap has been uncrushed, and a solution of cyanide and caustic has been running through it for the past 33 days. Earlier, the other half of the ore was crushed to 3/4 inch, and the same kind of weak cyanide and caustic solution was run through it. The results from both these tests have been very promising.
As Lacana is to be the designated operator for the Santa Fe, the same people will be responsible for the installation of a leaching plant there. And just as Lacana's operation was financed 100% by other operations, such is Brican's plan for the Santa Fe. A final production feasibility report on the prospect will be released by Lacana early in 1986. From October 1st, 1983 to March 15th, 1985, Brican's detailed exploration program in Nevada revealed over 130 potential target areas. Of those targets defined, 5 properties exhibiting significant values in gold and silver were acquired. In May of '85, Brican entered into the Nevada joint venture with Bow Valley Mining Ltd. to explore for and develop precious metal deposits in Nevada. Through the agreement, Brican sold a 50% interest in the 5 existing properties to Bow Valley for $175,000 and a commitment to spend an additional $325,000 in 1985 for regional exploration, property acquisition, and further exploration on the existing properties. Each company will have a 50% interest in all new properties acquired, and Brican will act as operator. An option was granted Bow Valley to acquire an additional 10% interest in any property if the company expends at least $125,000 on that property within a certain time frame. Brican is not required to contribute its 40% cost share of expenditures until $250,000 has been spent by Bow Valley on each property. Should Brican elect not to contribute any funds whatsoever, it will retain a free carried interest in net profits from production. Bow Valley was also granted the right for each $500,000 in expenditures incurred by them on the joint venture properties, the option to acquire treasury shares equal to 10% of the then issued shares of Brican Resources, to the point where the last option exercise results in Bow Valley owning 50% or more of the shares of Brican. The exercise price will be the market price at the time the option is earned. Bow Valley has also agreed to provide additional funding for a 50 to 60 drill hole exploration program on 2 of the joint venture properties, and is expected to contribute in excess of $1 million to the joint venture in 1986. A drill program has commenced on 1 of the 2 properties. The Dutch Flat property near Winnemucca, Nevada, is a large hydrothermally altered zone on trend with a placer gold mercury tungsten deposit. A surface exploration program has identified 2 mineralized zones. The larger eastern zone measures 3,600 feet in length and up to 800 feet in width, while the western zone measures 2,200 feet in length and up to 400 feet in width. Brican Resources Ltd. has successfully operated in a capital-intensive industry since 1976, while limiting its issued and outstanding stock capitalization to less than 2,700,000 common shares. Since its inception, Brican has a record of successfully turning up properties at the rate of 1 in 10. The company has also clearly demonstrated an ability to search and acquire large exploration prospects, which, after careful geological scrutiny, are optioned to major mining companies.
When you work with a business plan like this, there's always something happening. There's always a lot of activity in Brican. We have properties like the Santa Fe, which are in the production feasibility state. We have properties in Nevada, which are being drilled right now. We have other properties that are approaching the drill stage, which will be drilled in 1985 and 1986. And then we have our regional programs, which are always generating new prospects, which will be able to attract outside financing. So when you look at Brican's operations, and you realize that the vast majority of it is being paid for by other companies for this right to participate, the merits of the company and the investment are evident.
Through such a plan, investors are exposed to numerous exploration projects. It seems evident that success on any one or more of these projects will have a major impact on Brican Resources and its shareholders.